The massive alien warship hung in the sky like a dark cloud, its shadow casting an ominous presence over the United Nations building in New York. Inside the ship's command center, Commander Rax stood tall, his scaled skin reflecting the soft blue light of the control panels around him. His species, the Varex, had conquered 12 solar systems before reaching Earth, and none had offered any real resistance. Primitive weapons, Rax muttered, watching the human military vehicles gathering below. Their technology is at least 2 centuries behind ours. He turned to his second-in-command, Officer Kell. Show me their military installations again. A holographic display flickered to life, showing various military bases around the planet. Rax's attention was drawn to something unusual, fenced compounds attached to many of these bases, where strange creatures moved about with human handlers. Magnify that area, he ordered, pointing to one such compound. The image zoomed in on what humans called Fort Bailey. There, he saw humans running alongside 4-legged creatures with sharp teeth and powerful muscles. Sir, Kell reported, these compounds appear at approximately 70% of their major military installations. They seem to be breeding and training facilities. Rax's eyes narrowed as he watched a large creature leap over obstacles, its powerful jaws clamping down on training equipment. These beasts, they're unlike anything in our database. Look at their speed, their strength. He watched as one of the creatures took down a human wearing protective gear, its precision both impressive and alarming. On the surface below, Major Tom Wilson stood in Fort Bailey's K-9 training yard, scratching behind the ears of Rex, his German Shepherd partner of 4 years. "Good boy," he said softly, watching the alien ship through his binoculars. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together, won't we?" Rex wagged his tail, pressing against his handler's leg. Around them, other handlers continued their daily training routines, refusing to let the alien presence disrupt their schedules. Back on the ship, Rax received a disturbing report. "Commander," a junior officer called out, "we've intercepted their communications. They keep referring to something called K-9 units in their defense protocols." K-9. Rax's translator struggled with the term. A code name for their beast program, no doubt. "Show me more of these." K-9 units in action. The screens filled with images of military dogs in various scenarios, searching buildings, patrolling perimeters, and taking down targets in training exercises. To Rax's alien eyes, unfamiliar with Earth's animals, these were clearly highly trained war beasts, bred for combat. "Sir," Kell said, pulling up more footage, "look at how they've conditioned these creatures. The beasts show complete loyalty to their human masters. They attack on command, yet stand down instantly when ordered." Rax watched in growing concern as a human handler fed something to one of the creatures, rewarding it after a successful exercise. "They've created perfect biological weapons," he said grimly. "Creatures that can think, follow complex commands, and show unwavering loyalty. This explains how such a primitive species has survived this long." Down below, young Private James Cooper was having a different kind of interaction with the biological weapons. He sat in the kennel area, laughing as Luna, a Belgian Malinois puppy in training, covered his face with enthusiastic licks. "Hey, save some kisses for later," he chuckled, gently pushing the puppy back. "We've got training to do, remember." The stark contrast between the alien's perception and reality was about to set in motion a chain of events that would change both species forever. As Rax prepared his first official communication to Earth's leaders, he made what he thought was a reasonable demand. "Humans," his message began, broadcasting worldwide, "we have observed your military capabilities, including your beast program. Surrender now and hand over control of all K-9 units, or face the consequences." On Earth, the response to this demand was not what Rax expected. Major Wilson looked at Rex, who was currently rolling on his back in the grass, tongue lolling out happily, and couldn't help but shake his head. The greatest misunderstanding in interstellar history had just begun. The United Nations emergency meeting was interrupted by loud laughter. General Mike Stevens, commander of Fort Bailey, couldn't help himself. He had just finished reading the aliens' demand for Earth to surrender its K-9 beast weapons. "They think our dogs are super weapons," he said, wiping tears from his eyes. The other military leaders around the table shared knowing looks. Should we tell them Rex's biggest achievement last week was finding Private Cooper's lost sandwich? But Commander Rax, watching the meeting through the ship's surveillance systems, saw something very different in this laughter. To him, it showed the humans' dangerous confidence in their beast program. "Look at them, Kel," he growled, pacing the command deck. "They laugh at our demands. These humans must be very sure of their beasts' powers." He turned to his surveillance officer. "Show me more footage of their training facilities. I want to understand what makes them so confident." The screens lit up with various scenes from military K-9 training grounds worldwide. To human eyes, they showed ordinary training exercises. To alien eyes, they told a very different story. First, they watched a handler throwing a ball, which a German shepherd chased at high speed. "See how they test their beast's pursuit capabilities," Rax noted grimly. "The creature moves faster than their ground vehicles." Next came footage of a dog jumping through hoops and crossing obstacle courses. "Incredible agility training," Kel commented. "These beasts could easily navigate urban warfare environments." But what really caught Rax's attention was a scene from Fort Bailey's kennel area. Private Cooper sat in a circle with 5 dogs, teaching them new commands. The dogs watched him intently, responding to each hand signal and voice command. "This is most disturbing," Rax said. "They've developed some form of interspecies communication. The beasts understand their language, their gestures." He leaned closer to the screen. "And look, they've even trained the young ones." The image showed a puppy learning to sit on command, receiving a treat afterward. To Rax, this wasn't a simple training exercise. It was evidence of sophisticated behavioral conditioning. Down on Earth, things were business as usual at Fort Bailey's K-9 unit. Major Wilson and Rex were conducting their morning patrol when they heard excited barking from the training yard. They found Private Cooper teaching Luna, the Malinois puppy, how to play dead. "Bang," Cooper said playfully, pointing his finger like a gun. Luna flopped over dramatically, belly up, tongue hanging out. "Good girl." Cooper laughed, tossing her a treat. Above them, Rax watched this interaction with mounting horror. "They're training the beasts to survive battlefield conditions," he told his officers. "Look how that young one practices playing dead to avoid enemy fire." The level of intelligence these creatures possess is extraordinary. The situation grew more complex when the aliens intercepted what they thought was a coded message. It was actually just the base's weekly K-9 supply order. "Need more tennis balls, 50, rope toys, 20, training treats, 100 boxes, squeaky toys, 30. "Officer Kell," Rax called out, "analyze this intercepted message. What are these items?" Kell studied the list carefully. "Our best interpretation, sir: training projectiles, grappling equipment, chemical enhancement supplements, and sonic warfare devices." Rax nodded grimly. "The humans are preparing their beasts for something big." He turned to his weapons officer. "Increase our shield strength. If they unleash these creatures on us, we must be ready." Meanwhile, in the UN meeting, the world leaders finally reached a decision. General Stevens stood up to deliver their response to the aliens. "Tell them we invite their commander to visit Fort Bailey," he said, trying to keep a straight face. "Let them see our beast program up close. Maybe then they'll understand." The message was sent to the alien ship. Rax read it several times, suspicious of the humans' willingness to reveal their secret weapon program. "It's either a trap," he told his officers, "or they're so confident in their beasts' abilities that they want to demonstrate their power." He stood tall, making his decision. "Very well. We'll accept their invitation, but we'll be ready for anything." Little did he know, The only danger he faced was being overwhelmed by enthusiastic puppy kisses. Commander Rax's visit to Fort Bailey was scheduled for sunrise. The night before, he held an emergency meeting with his officers aboard the warship. "This will be dangerous," he told them, displaying a hologram of the base. "Their beasts will be everywhere. One wrong move could trigger an attack." He pointed to the kennels. "These holding cells must contain their most powerful weapons." On Earth, Major Wilson was also preparing for the visit, but in a very different way. "All right, everyone, bath time." He called out to the K-9 handlers. "Let's make our pups look their best for our alien guests." The kennel area soon filled with the sound of splashing water and barking dogs. Private Cooper struggled with Luna, who thought bath time was just another game. "Stay still, you silly girl," he laughed as she shook herself, spraying water everywhere. "You're supposed to look professional tomorrow." At dawn, Rax's shuttle descended toward Fort Bailey. He wore his heaviest armor, equipped with what his scientists assured him was beast-repelling technology. In reality, it was just giving off a high-pitched whine that would make every dog on base very interested in him. General Stevens waited at the landing pad with Major Wilson. Rex sat perfectly at attention beside them, freshly groomed and wearing his best tactical vest. "Remember," the general whispered to Wilson, "try not to laugh. We need to handle this diplomatically." The shuttle's door opened with a hiss. Rax emerged, flanked by 4 armed guards. His eyes immediately locked onto Rex. "So," he said through his translator, "this is one of your elite beast warriors." "This is Rex," Major Wilson replied proudly. "One of our finest K-9 officers." Rex's ears perked up at the strange whining sound coming from Rax's armor. His tail started wagging. Rax took a step back, interpreting the tail movement as some kind of combat readiness signal. "It's preparing to attack." One of his guards shouted, raising his weapon. "Stand down," Rax ordered, impressed by the humans' confidence. "They're showing us their beast's capabilities on purpose." He turned to Wilson. "Very clever, human. You demonstrate its readiness for battle, yet maintain control. We will observe more." The tour proceeded to the training yard. Rax watched in growing concern as handlers worked with their dogs. A Belgian Malinois racing through an obstacle course became showing impossible speed and agility. A Labrador practicing water rescue became amphibious assault training. Then came the moment that almost started an interstellar incident. Private Cooper was working with Luna in one corner of the yard. The puppy had just mastered a new trick, and Cooper was excited to show it off. "Luna, speak," he commanded. The puppy let out an adorable high-pitched bark. Their young ones already know battle cries. Kel whispered to Rax. "Luna, roll over," Cooper continued. The puppy flopped onto her back, wriggling happily in the grass. "Emergency evasive maneuvers," Rax muttered, taking notes on his datapad. But what really concerned him was the next command. "Luna, attack," Cooper said playfully, holding up her favorite chew toy. The tiny puppy launched herself at the toy, growling in what she thought was a fierce manner, but sounded more like squeaky hiccups. Rax's guards immediately formed a defensive circle. "Sir, they're demonstrating their attack capabilities. We should retreat." General Stevens quickly realized things were getting out of hand. "Perhaps we should move on to the kennel area," he suggested, trying to diffuse the tension. "Bad idea." The kennel area was full of dogs excited by the strange visitors. The moment Rax walked in, dozens of tails started wagging. The high-pitched whine from his armor had every dog's attention. "They're all activating," Rax shouted, backing toward the door. "The humans are preparing to unleash their entire beast army." In reality, the dogs were just hoping the strange-smelling visitor might have treats. Major Wilson tried to explain. No, they're just happy to see you. They're friendly." "Friendly?" Rax's translator struggled with the concept. "You mean they can disguise their combat programming? Most impressive and terrifying." The situation reached its peak when Luna, who had followed them to the kennels, decided the alien commander looked like he needed a puppy kiss. She slipped past Cooper and bounded toward Rax. "Luna, wait," Cooper called out. But it was too late. The tiny puppy was already running full speed toward the most powerful alien commander in the sector, tongue out and ready for kisses. The next few seconds would either start or prevent an interstellar war. Time seemed to slow down as Luna, the tiny Malinois puppy, bounded toward Commander Rax. The alien guards raised their weapons. Major Wilson reached for Rex's leash. General Stevens held his breath. But Private Cooper knew Luna best. "Wait," he called out. "Just watch." Luna reached the alien commander and did what puppies do best. She sat down, tilted her head, and gave Rax her best, "Please give me treats" look. Her tail thumped against the ground in a steady rhythm. Rax stood frozen, waiting for the attack that never came. His combat scanner showed something impossible. This war beast was releasing chemicals associated with happiness. "Sir," one of his guards asked nervously, "should we fire?" Before Rax could answer, Luna flopped onto her back, exposing her belly, the universal puppy sign for "please give belly rubs." Her tiny pink tongue lolled out of her mouth as she wiggled on the ground. "I don't understand," Rax said, staring at the puppy. "Is this some kind of malfunction?" Private Cooper slowly approached. "No malfunction, sir. She just wants you to pet her. Like this." He knelt down and scratched Luna's belly. The puppy's back legs started thumping in joy. "Pet." Rax's translator struggled with the concept. "You mean make physical contact with a war beast?" "They're not war beasts," Major Wilson explained, finally letting out the laugh he'd been holding in. "They're dogs. Companions. Partners." He gestured to Rex, who sat calmly at his side. "They help us, protect us, but mostly, they're our friends." Rax's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. "Friends? But we saw the training, the attacks." "Here, let me demonstrate," Major Wilson said. He turned to Rex. "Rex, attack." Rex looked at his handler with a tilted head, then at the training sleeve lying nearby. When Wilson made no move to pick up the sleeve, Rex just yawned and lay down. "Without the proper equipment and commands, he won't attack anything," Wilson explained. "These aren't mindless beasts. They're intelligent, loving creatures who have to be specially trained for any police or military work." Curiosity overtook fear in Rax's mind. He crouched down, extending one armored hand toward Luna. The puppy immediately scrambled up and sniffed his fingers, then gave them a tiny lick. The alien commander jerked his hand back in surprise. It touched me with its tongue. Is this a form of chemical warfare?" Private Cooper couldn't help chuckling. "No, sir. That's a kiss. It means she likes you." "Likes me." The concept seemed to short-circuit something in Rax's understanding of warfare. Just then, something remarkable happened. Rex, the experienced military dog, walked calmly over to Rax. Everyone held their breath again. The large German shepherd sat down next to the alien commander, leaned against his leg, and looked up at him with gentle brown eyes. "That's incredible," Major Wilson whispered. "Rex doesn't usually warm up to strangers so quickly." Rax stood very still. "Your elite warrior is showing me affection." "Dogs can sense good people," Wilson explained, "even if those people aren't from Earth." Something changed in Rax's posture. He slowly reached down and, mimicking what he'd seen Cooper do, scratched Rex behind the ears. The dog's tail wagged happily. "The beast, the dog, it's so warm," Rax said softly. "And its fur. We have nothing like this on our worlds." Luna, not wanting to be left out, squeezed between Rex and Rax, demanding her share of attention. Soon, the fearsome alien commander was sitting on the ground, surrounded by curious dogs from the kennel, all wanting to investigate this interesting new friend. "Sir?" Officer Kell called from the doorway. shocked at seeing his commander in such a position. "Should we rescue you?" "No," Rax replied, watching in fascination as Luna climbed into his lap. "No, I think we might have made a serious mistake about Earth's beast program." General Stevens smiled. "Commander Rax, would you like to learn what these animals are really all about?" Looking down at Luna's trusting eyes and Rex's friendly face, Rax made a decision that would change the course of human-alien relations forever. "Yes," he said. "Yes, I would." The next few hours at Fort Bailey were unlike anything in the history of first contact situations. Commander Rax, the fearsome alien leader who had conquered 12 solar systems, sat in the base's training yard with Luna asleep in his lap. "And you say these creatures, these dogs, were once wild?" he asked, gently stroking Luna's ears. Major Wilson sat cross-legged nearby, Rex lying contentedly at his side. "They were wolves once," he explained. "Over thousands of years, humans and dogs formed a partnership. They helped us hunt, protected our homes, and eventually became part of our families." Rax's guards had long since lowered their weapons, some of them now cautiously petting the other dogs. Officer Kell was particularly fascinated by a golden retriever who kept bringing him a tennis ball. "Sir," Kell called out, "this one keeps giving me this sphere. Is it some kind of weapon?" Private Cooper laughed. "Throw it. That's Max, and he'll play fetch all day if you let him." Kell hesitantly threw the ball. Max bounded after it, his golden fur shining in the sunlight, and proudly brought it back. The alien officer's face showed an expression that, while alien, looked remarkably like a smile. "But how do you communicate with them?" Rax asked, watching Kell and Max play. "We saw your training sessions. Watch this," Major Wilson said. He stood up and walked a few paces away. "Rex, come." Rex immediately trotted to his side and sat. "Stay." Wilson walked away, and Rex remained perfectly still. "Now this isn't mind control or advanced technology," Wilson explained. "It's trust and training. Rex follows commands because we've built a bond. He wants to work with me." To demonstrate, Wilson took out a treat. Rex's ears perked up, but he didn't move from his spot. "See, he could easily grab this, but he waits for permission because we trust each other." Rax looked down at Luna, still sleeping peacefully in his lap. "On our worlds, we have machines for everything. Combat, security, companionship, all artificial." He gently touched Luna's paw. "This is different." General Stevens, who had been watching quietly, spoke up. "Commander, would you like to try some basic training? See how it really works." Rax's eyes lit up. "You would share your beast bonding techniques." "Dog training," Stevens corrected with a smile. "And yes, Cooper, why don't you show the commander how to work with Luna?" For the next hour, Private Cooper taught Rax the basics of dog training. The alien commander learned to hold treats properly, despite his very different hand structure, how to use clear commands, and the importance of praise. Luna proved to be an enthusiastic, if somewhat distractible, student. Each time she successfully followed a command, her happy barks made Rax's translator buzz with confusion as it tried to interpret the sounds. "She's saying she's happy," Cooper explained. "Dogs are very good at showing how they feel." "Happy," Rax repeated, watching Luna spin in excited circles around him. "We have no word for this in our military vocabulary." Officer Kill, still playing with Max, called out, "Sir, I think I'm experiencing this happy too." The breakthrough moment came when Luna finally mastered sit for Rax. The puppy planted her bottom firmly on the ground, looking up at him with expectant eyes. "Now praise her," Cooper encouraged. "Let her know she did well." Rax reached down and carefully patted Luna's head. Good small dog," he said formally. Luna responded by jumping up and licking his face, causing the mighty alien commander to make a sound that his species would never admit might have been a giggle. General Stevens turned to Major Wilson and whispered, "Send a message to command. I think we can cancel those emergency defense preparations. Wilson nodded, watching as more alien guards came out to meet the dogs. Who would have thought? The greatest weapon against alien invasion was puppy kisses. Rax overheard them and stood up, holding Luna carefully in his arms. Not a weapon, he corrected. A bridge. We came looking for war beasts and found. He paused, looking for the right word. Friends. Luna yawned and snuggled closer to the alien commander, not caring about interstellar politics or first contact protocols. To her, Rax was just another friend who needed to learn the joy of belly rubs and tennis balls. 1 week after the historic first contact at Fort Bailey, Commander Rax stood before the United Nations, his presentation screen showing images that no one had expected to see in an alien briefing. This, he said, displaying a picture of ancient cave paintings showing humans hunting alongside wolves, is what truly makes your species remarkable. The assembly hall was packed with world leaders, military commanders, and, unusually, several dogs. Rex and Luna sat calmly beside Major Wilson and Private Cooper in the front row. When we first arrived, Rax continued, we thought these creatures were weapons. We were wrong. They are something far more impressive. He clicked to the next image, a modern family playing with their dog in a park. They are proof of humanity's greatest strength, your ability to turn potential enemies into loyal friends. Officer Kell, now sporting a dogs are out of this world t-shirt someone had given him, stepped forward with a data pad. Our research shows that humans took one of their planet's most dangerous predators and, instead of destroying them, chose to form a partnership. Kell couldn't help grinning as Max, his new favorite tennis ball partner, wagged his tail from the audience. Through patience, kindness, and trust, concepts we had classified as military weaknesses, they created something extraordinary. The screens now showed scenes from the past week. Alien guards learning to play fetch, Rax attempting to teach Luna new tricks, and various dogs happily interacting with the visitors from space. In our 12 conquered systems, Rax said, his voice carrying a note of regret, we never once considered making friends with the native species. We saw everything in terms of weapons and resources. He paused, looking down at Luna, who had somehow snuck onto the stage and was now sitting at his feet. Humans took wolves and created dogs. In doing so, you proved that strength isn't just about weapons and war. Private Cooper watched with pride as Luna demonstrated her newest trick, a perfect high five with the alien commander's hand. The world leaders chuckled at the sight, tension draining from the room. Our scientists are still baffled, Kell added. These animals understand your emotions, protect your young, work in your military and emergency services, and provide companionship, all without any technology. Just trust, breeding, and training over thousands of years. Major Wilson raised his hand. Commander Rax, are you saying that humanity's relationship with dogs has changed your view of Earth? Completely, Rax replied, reaching down to scratch Luna's ears, a gesture he'd grown quite fond of. Any species that can turn wolves into these amazing companions is clearly more advanced than we initially thought. Not in technology, perhaps, but in ways that matter more. He pressed a button, and the screen showed a split image. On one side, a fearsome wolf, on the other, a happy dog playing with children. This transformation represents something our species never achieved, the ability to forge bonds beyond your own kind. General Stevens stood up. So, does this mean Earth is safe from invasion? Rax looked down at Luna, then at all the dogs in the room, each one a testament to thousands of years of friendship between species. More than that, he said, we would like to propose an alliance. The assembly buzzed with surprise. Rax held up his hand for silence. But first, he continued, we have a request. He looked somewhat embarrassed. Our ship's crew would like to know if we could adopt some dogs. The hall erupted in laughter and applause. Luna barked happily, racing around Rax's legs in excitement. I think, General Stevens said, grinning, that can be arranged. though you might need to adjust your ship's regulations about pets. Already done, Kel called out. We've designated several areas as dog parks and installed grass stimulators. Max approved them yesterday. He pointed proudly at the golden retriever, who was still hopefully holding a tennis ball. As the details of the first interstellar pet adoption program were discussed, Major Wilson leaned over to Private Cooper. "You know," he whispered, "when I joined the military, I never thought dogs would be the key to world peace." Cooper watched as Luna gave another high five to the alien commander. "Well, sir," he replied, "they've always been man's best friend. Guess now, they're the galaxy's best friend, too." 3 months after the historic first contact, Fort Bailey had changed quite a bit. The once military-only K-9 training facility now had a new sign reading Earth Varex Interspecies K-9 Training Center. The sight of aliens in training yards had become normal, though it still caused smiles among the human staff. Commander Rax stood in his favorite spot, the puppy training area. Luna, no longer quite so tiny, sat proudly at his side. She wore a special collar that marked her as the first official Earth Varex K-9 diplomat. "Watch this," Rax told a group of newly arrived alien visitors. "Luna, demonstrate friendship protocol." Luna barked happily and performed a series of tricks. Sit, shake hands, roll over, and finally, her specialty, a gentle hug with her front paws. The alien visitors clicked their mandibles in amazement. 3 months ago, Rax said, rewarding Luna with her favorite treat, "I thought these creatures were weapons of war. Now, my ship feels empty without her when she stays at the training center." Private Cooper, now promoted to head of Interspecies Canine Relations, a job title that hadn't existed 4 months ago, walked over with Max and Officer Kell. The alien officer had officially adopted the tennis ball-loving golden retriever, who had his own quarters on the alien ship. "How many applications do we have now?" Cooper asked. Kell checked his data pad. 2,342 crew members from various ships have applied to adopt Earth dogs. He threw Max's tennis ball, smiling as the dog happily bounded after it. "We've had to create a waiting list." Major Wilson approached with Rex, who now wore a special vest identifying him as an interstellar K-9 training instructor. "The President just approved the expansion of the program," he announced. "We're opening 3 more training centers next month." "Excellent," Rax said, watching as Luna played with a group of alien children who had come to learn about Earth pets. "Though we may need to address one small problem." "What's that, sir?" Kell asked, accepting the slightly slobbery tennis ball Max had brought back. "The other species we've conquered, they're asking why Earth dogs get special privileges on our ships." Rax paused, scratching Luna's ears. "They want to know when they can start sharing their planet's companion animals too." Cooper laughed. "So dogs didn't just prevent a war. They're helping create an interstellar pet exchange program." "Indeed," Rax replied. "Though I must say, Earth dogs set a very high standard. Just yesterday, one of my senior officers asked if he could trade his battle cruiser for a Labrador puppy." "Did you approve the trade?" Wilson asked, grinning. "Of course not." Rax looked offended. "Those puppies are worth at least 2 battle cruisers." Their laughter was interrupted by an announcement over the base's speakers. "Attention! The first graduating class of the Earth Varex K-9 training program will begin their ceremony in 10 minutes. In the main training yard, rows of chairs had been set up. Humans and aliens sat side by side, watching as dogs and their new alien handlers demonstrated their training. Luna, as the program's mascot, led the procession. General Stevens gave the graduation speech. 3 months ago, we faced the threat of interstellar war because of a misunderstanding about our dogs. Today, we celebrate the first class of alien K-9 handlers. These dogs have done more for galactic peace than any weapon ever could." Rax stood up to speak next. "On my world, we have a saying. Power comes from strength in battle. But Earth has taught us a different kind of power. The strength to turn strangers into friends, to share love across species." He looked down at Luna, who wagged her tail. and to appreciate the simple joy of a game of fetch. As the ceremony ended, Private Cooper turned to Major Wilson. "Sir, remember when Commander Rax ordered us to surrender the beasts?" Wilson nodded, watching as Rax tried to stop Luna from licking his face during the official graduation photo. Who would have thought he meant surrender our hearts? The base photographer called everyone together for a final picture. Humans and aliens gathered, each with their dogs, all differences forgotten in their shared love for their four-legged friends. In the end, Earth's secret weapons had indeed changed the galaxy, not through fear or power, but through waggy tails, wet kisses, and the unconditional love that only dogs can give. Luna barked once, as if giving her approval of how things had turned out. After all, from a dog's perspective, more friends just meant more people to play with, more hands to give belly rubs, and more tennis balls to chase, no matter what planet they came from.